Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday morning trading room. Let's take a look here at what's been going on. Oops, hold on. Here we go. Let's bring over the daily chart. And this is yesterday's session. It looks a little bit more impressive maybe than it was. But I think what's significant here is that we actually saw the buyers dig in at around 7,300. And you can see right now we're trading a little bit below where we left off yesterday. The overnight dropping down ever so slightly. So a tiny opening gap above us. What I would be watching for at this point is an attempted break by the buyers. What's of a little bit of a concern is that this was yesterday's session. The volume off a little bit, but I suppose it was also a smaller bar, so I shouldn't get too bent out of shape over that. If the market does try to rally here the next few days and the volume does not pick up, then that's almost a clear indication that the market will either enter a sideways trading range, which is what I think will happen, or it may try to hunt for some lower prices still, maybe even get down here to around the 7,000 region. All right. So you can see we're currently in scalp mode, going to be moving into trend mode here very shortly. This is our first in sync eagle signal. Looks like it's coming a few minutes after the open, and the market making some progress to the bullish side. Here you can see a little bit more clearly the overnight decline. I'm just curious to see what the trade forecaster is going to suggest will be trend mode, what kind of duration we're going to be looking at here. Nice in sync signal here to start your day in the Raptor as well. Your first signal, which is in sync with your trading bands. Very good follow through on that. Your trading day could be done. You're only about 3 minutes in. Okay, trade forecaster says that pretty much for the remainder of the morning session, we are in trend mode. That's encouraging. Trend mode tends to suggest the market will have a little better follow through. The pullbacks should be less frequent and less pronounced. Maybe we'll even try to run out a trade. We'll give them a few minutes here to settle in. See if they start leaning one way or the other. right now, I suppose with the overnight move, if anything, the market may be a little bit more bearish than bullish. Good follow through though on a lot of these signals here on the Raptor. We've had a couple of number 3 signals. We had a nice late filter entry signal here in the Falcon. Really good follow through on that one. And of course, a plethora of signals here on the Hawk. And things, well, I'm a little hesitant to jump on board this early, but things definitely looking bullish. So it almost looks like they may be trying to get into that little opening range gap that formed. All right, a little bit of a pullback now. Still waiting for, a little bit of a trend to develop. Here, according to the Eagle, it looks like we're going to have a bullish trend that's mirrored here on the Raptor. All right, a little bit of a bounce off the hard edge. We'll see whether the buyers can recover. Ooh, it looks like they're trying. Okay, what may happen at this point is, there it is, the test of the extreme. And what you could do is you could anticipate the test of the extreme is going to result in a rule of three. You could park your short order below here. Here now with the hard edge bounce. Well, I guess technically it occurred over here. We got a follow-up signal though. All right, let's see whether we actually get a turn at this point. Still very early, so it's a little bit difficult to kind of get a handle on the market. Ooh, and we're at that crazy quarter to the hour mark, my least favorite time of the day to trade. And I think we'll scrub that order now that the market is pushing on higher. Well, we did get a number one and a number three signal here, both of which did find their profit target, and another late filter entry signal. So, you know, volatility is good. We've got some decent moves here. Okay, we're getting a little bit of a pullback again, and we're going to produce another late filter entry signal here in the Falcon. All right, I might give this one a go. So I'm just going to be looking at re-entering above those highs. And, oh, didn't get a chance to move my stops. I'm going to move my stops at this point because we got about 3/4 of the way to the profit target. And as we sneak up there again to the highs, I'll get it to break even. Come on. Come on. You can do it. You... Okay. Wow, that was all right. What was significant about that? Why was I looking at something to the long side? Well, let's go back here to the eagle. So remember when this was forming and I considered shorting if this was going to turn out to be a test of the extreme. I would have expected the market to decline. At this point, I could have thrown in my just in case order to buy up here as well. I didn't point it out because sometimes what happens is the market will go up, retest the high, and then fail. So it's essentially like what we do when we have a sideways trading range. We look for the breakout, the retest, and then look for an excuse to enter. In this particular situation, it would have worked out just fine, as you can see. But by breaching that high, see, there's actually the retest at that point. By breaching that high, it now puts us in a more bullish posture. And the Raptor had a just your basic follow-up Raptor signal. The Falcon had the late filter entry signal, which coincided with the Falcon signal, the Raptor signal, and is a very strong signal as far as the Falcon is concerned. So I put my order up here just above the recent highs. We got brought in, the Bollingers are in sync again, and the market ended up getting high enough to at least find the high probability profit target. So it was worth waiting for. We did have other opportunities here along the way to get in a little bit earlier. Here was another late filter entry signal on the Falcon. But as I tend to remind you every morning, you don't need to chase a lot of signals around. You just need to find a signal that you are reasonably confident with, one that you're prepared to put some money on, and after that, it becomes a numbers game, meaning you increase your earnings not by trading more often, but by increasing your size per trade. And this is the part that eludes so many traders. They think they have to be able to figure out everything the market's going to do off every single signal. And that's just not the case. A lot of times the market will just give you noise where you can't make heads nor tails out of it. Noise is easy to see here on the Hawk because you start to get a lot of yellow bars printing. So why would I want to trade when the market is not cooperating? Why would I not want to hold out for a better looking signal? Those are all rhetorical questions, by the way, and I'm sure you figured that out. Okay, we're a little conflicted, it seems. Let's get the eagle up here. We're back into the hard edge. We're actually breaking through. Look at this. The Falcon producing a trend change signal to the short side, as is the Hawk over there. All right, let's take a look here at a potential short now. All right, they did bring me in. Let's see if there's any follow through here. I'm going to give the stops just a little extra room. I can risk up to $250. The challenge here is trend. Which way is this market really trending? Okay, so I would very much like to see it break below this low, this 73.91 zone. Oh, we got a little bit of a double bounce there. That's not what I want to see. Oops. Things getting more bullish. The Bollinger's turning bullish. Ooh, and there you go. All right, so it's not a seller's market. Let's take a look at the next buy signal then. And here it comes. And I'm going to anticipate the buy signal. I'm going to get my exit order out of the way. So we've got the warning dots. I can anticipate that the buy signal will form above these highs. And because it's trend mode, I'm going to try to stretch this a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that rally that tagged me out. I wasn't watching the eagle here. It came into the hard edge, gave me that hard edge bounce. Okay, coming back now. Buy signal there on the eagle. We've got our number one signal here on the raptor, so we can play it off of the raptor. The signals are going to coincide a little bit here. So this 74.11 area looks like it could be a zone to contend with. Obviously a little bit of selling going on there. All right, they're going to give it a go. I'm going to try to be a little bit more careful with my stops because I've got the big profit target. I'm going to try to roll my stops when and if the market takes out the swing high. Now, I need to point out where the market is at right now. It's pretty neutral. We've kind of filled that overnight gap. As you probably remember, 7,400 has been a number that has been very influential the last few days. So we really haven't moved that far off the last few days trading. Oh, we're almost out of opening range. Okay, getting a number 3 signal now. I do not want to see a number 2 signal come back. That would be that 232 potential reversal, which I would not be very keen on. $74.11, very sticky. You know, I'm a little concerned because we've hit this sideways skid. I was looking for a little bit more momentum, obviously, as we keep breaching the 74.11 area and keep bouncing back below it. We have lost a lot of momentum here. Okay, well, there we go. There's another push at 74.11. Come on, buyers. Let's go, bulls. All right, well, that's a little better. Now, at this point, it's a little up in the air because we've hit our high probability profit objective. So the money is there. You should take it. I should take it. I'm going to take my stops to break even now. All right, there we go. Let's see if we can get any kind of follow through here. I might be a little too aggressive here on the profit objective. Maybe we'll look a little bit, be a little bit more modest. Oh, if they don't tag me on the reverse, that is. See, technically, you should not roll your stop until this high is breached, until the market trades above 74.20. As you're trying to trail a big stop. Now, don't do this at home. I'm just going to do it to show you. The idea is when the market breaches a significant resistance, that's when you roll your stop up under the last support. So here's the next resistance zone. Once the market trades above there, then I can roll my stop to the next swing low, which will be right here. You can see it's not even at break even yet. This requires a lot of patience. And you can see why. I would have been tagged here at break even. If I if I were smart, I would have taken the profit on target, like I'm always telling you to do. We're back in the hard edge, so I'm anticipating a bit of a reaction here. All right, so here's the push up. Now what happens is a lot of people start rolling their stops at this point. You know, they figure, okay, I'm about halfway through the zone. In case the market turns, I want to protect myself. But ideally, you do not roll your stop until we get above 74.20. The reason is the market does have a tendency to retest and sometimes slightly violate the last swing point. You know, it might breach it by a couple, 3 ticks, and then reverse once again and go higher. The easiest way to keep your nerve in a situation like this is to already consider this money gone. Whatever you dedicated to your stop loss, consider that money already spent. All right, so there we go. We've reached 74.20. I can now bring my stops up and I'll probably, bring them to break even at this point. And once again, in reality, I would probably start bringing my stops in really, really tight here. We had $200 in open profit, which is, well, there we go. There's $200 again in open profit right there, which is a lot of moolah. But now we're not going to roll our stops until the market takes out this 74.25 zone. Again, don't do this at home. This is merely for demonstration purposes now. This is really the last swing low here. At home, take your profit. Here, I'll make it a little easier on them still. We'll just look for a little bit of a breach of that high if I get it. Okay, so here we go. We just broke the last swing. Let's see if the buyers can recover from that. Are they going to breach the second low? It looks like I gave them enough room there. This would be a really cool example of this if this actually works out and gets up here now. It really show you how the market, can play with that last swing low. But that second swing low, it's a bigger obstacle. Not holding out a whole lot of hope here at the moment. And, realistically, again, at this point, we've got our profit. You should take your profit. The fact that the market got this close to the second swing low is probably a good enough reason to bring the trade to break even at this point. See what's going on here is we've also had a little trend line breach, and this is waking up some of the sellers. Like, are the sellers going to push the market down again or not? Okay, once again, we do have our high probability target. If you haven't taken profit before, take your profit now. There's a very real chance the market will try to reverse and run the lows. So we got, once again, we're pushing almost $200 in open profit at this point. And it's a little unnerving to leave your stops this far back. This 74.21 zone, we got a little bit of a double tap on that. So the market's very likely to come hunting for the bottom end. And there we go.
Order canceled.
So let's say, just for argument's sake, that my stop was still here. And they should take me out. There they go. They would have taken me out. So it was a good idea to bring those stops in. Well, we are seeing some follow through on a lot of these moves. And here we go again to the short side. So you've got your test here. I'll put the order on it and then I'll explain it. So I'm looking for a second push on this #1 signal.
Order pending.
I'm going to do it just like that. Get these out of the way for now. This will be a little easier to see on the Eagle. Where we've had the test of the extreme. And it's essentially a rule of 3 signal. We had the 2 counter trend signals right here. This next signal actually printing with trend. Okay, here another with trend signal. Oh, wow. Okay, let's cancel that for now. All right, has the president been tweeting again? What's going on?
Order canceled.
Well, that was a substantial push higher. So it appears I would have needed to keep my stops 3 swings back to ride out that last move. that big pullback. We're getting a fair amount of volatility here now. The bars unfolding very quickly. Anytime you see second stamps on your bars, things might be moving a little bit fast, just a touch. Oh, wow. Look at them go. Okay, this is one of these situations where the market is just full on bull. And so you look just to buy any signal. So we've got a buy. Oh, okay, forget that. Let's wait for a proper signal. A lot of times when the market is moving like this, you can just buy in anywhere. They're in a little bit of crazy mode going on here. I'll have to check some of the news sites. What's going on here? Well, there's no major reports out today. Well, took a bit of a bounce here off the 74.60 zone. That was near yesterday's highs, I believe. I'm not going to get into shorting it because I believe that the market is more bullish at this point, or so it seems. But I would not be surprised to see a little bit of a counter move from the bears, given that monster rally that we just saw. If you're looking for an excuse to get with trend, well, you got one right here on your Raptor. It's that number 2 signal, and you could look for a second push, or I would advise a second push opportunity on that.
Order pending.
All right, let's get that going. So exit orders, come on, exit orders down here. And given the volatility, why don't we try to run this one out a little?
Order filled.
No,
Order canceled.
not quite ready yet. Okay, here's going to come a number 1 signal now that the clouds have crossed. Trying to get a little bit more bullish. There's the number 1 signal. the exit order out of the way.
Order filled.
Ooh, there's some nasty slippage going on. What's with that? All right, there's perhaps a little bit too much volatility going on here. I should be steering away from this until things slow down a little. And maybe I'll do the right thing and try to take profit on target. Yeah, this is a little bit too volatile for me right now. You see all the candy striping going on here. We're producing far too many signals. And like I pointed out before, when the bars start unfolding so quickly that you need second stamps on your chart, you may have to step back for a bit. And there they go.
Order canceled.
Okay. And another good reason why you don't want to trade so many times during the day. Ron's asking, Eric, are the micro markets open, and what are the symbols for the NASDAQ and the M and the YM? Well, here, let's go to the source. For questions like this, you're always best going to the source. So here we have the CME group. Let's search micro. Oh, see, look at that, micro E-minis right there. Yes, they are open, and the S&P is your symbol MES, your Russell M2K, the NASDAQ MNQ, and the mini Dow or the micro Dow MYM. Looks like the NASDAQ and the E-mini, the big boys, although open interest, we got bigger open interest in, well, certainly the S&P. That just makes sense. The nice thing is the margins. $630. And I do believe for day trading, brokerages are letting you trade with $50, I think. Let's see if I can build a chart. Okay, so here we have the Micro E-mini S&P. There was a nice little overnight move. We did get a couple counter trend signals here to start the day. And here's our first in sync signal. Oh, did you see that? Look at that. We can take 6 contracts. I'm just curious here how the pricing is, because I haven't. There we go. This is with the regular Raptor settings, not with the faster settings. The good thing about the micro is that it does give you more flexibility for your position sizing. If you're looking at a trade that you think might be a little more iffy and you don't want to jam your stops in really tight, you can leave a much broader stop and dial down your position size. The way you would do that with the trade calculator is you could go with a fixed size. You could go with a horizontal line for your stop if you wanted. So you could throw a horizontal line down here. Or perhaps the easiest thing is just to increase your tick amount, your stops. Well, you know what? That's not bad. We've certainly hit our high probability target here. It was, sorry, I misspoke. We're almost to our high probability target. I thought I saw $100 there. The pace is nice. I may gravitate toward the S&P on this type of market, just because that's where all the action is.
Order filled. Order canceled.
Well, you know what? There was nothing wrong with that. I may have to keep that around. What was the NASDAQ? M&Q, I think. Let's see what that looks like. That could be a little hairier. Yes, all these bars, look at all these bars formed within a minute or two. And of course, it's going to mirror whatever the big one is doing. And what was the Russell? The 2K. That looks fairly reasonable. Out of the three that I've looked at so far, I think I like the E-mini best, and now the YM. Well, we had a nice progression here out of the open. Well, sorry, after the open. Unfortunately, this move did not signal, at least not on the Raptor. Yeah, you know what? I think I almost prefer the ES, the Micro Mini. It seems to have less chop to it, at least with the default Raptor settings. If I dialed it down to the faster Raptor settings, it would certainly introduce a few more signals, a little bit more choppiness. But we had some nice signals here. We had a nice signal to buy there, another one to buy there, both of which would have found their high probability targets. Here was a number 3 signal to short, which did not work. The market turned, and you very likely would have got tagged out. But it came back with a reverse signal, so you could have offset some of that if you were still trading after your first 2 trades. And this last signal, this last number 1 signal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signals, 4 of which are profitable. So running about 80%, just some really crude math there. But that's not bad, not bad at all. Okay, well, kind of keep this one off to the side. Okay, the market obviously full on bull mode right now. Ron's asking, how do you get these into your database? That is a darn good question. You know, the one thing, and probably somebody in the room will do better answering this question than me, I hate the way NinjaTrader has done the new charts. You know, it used to be you select your chart, you click your drop down, and you go, you find your charts that you have loaded. I don't know how to do that anymore. The way I've been doing it, which I'm sure is very awkward, is I've been going to my instruments and I'll search it, or my instrument list, I guess. No, that's not it either. Where the heck is it? I guess it is this one, instruments. And I'll search it. And I'll just make a note of the symbol. So micro E-mini S&P is MS. Oh, sorry, maybe it looks like this is where I can add it. Yeah, they've made this a lot more complicated than it used to be. Anyways, the way I've been doing it is I would now go to my chart and I would type in MES 0619 and then OK, and it will build my chart. Like I said, I'm sure there's a better way to do it. There's probably some YouTube video out there explaining it. Or get a hold of Ninja. And I'm sorry, like I said, I'm not very good at explaining that one. It was a whole lot easier. Nelp's asking, hi Eric, what are bullish, neutral, and bearish bars? Okay, well, it depends a little bit on the tool that you're looking at, but they're easiest to see here on the Hawk. Bullish bars, of course, the ones painting green. Bearish bars, the ones painting red. And the neutral bars are the ones that are printing yellow. Because the Raptor borrows from the Hawk, you get the same kind of idea here, where your bullish bars are blue, your bearish bars are the magenta ones, and then your more neutral bars are yellow. The Raptor does go one step further, and it also shows you how the bar closes relative to the open. So the solid body bars, regardless of the color, closed below the open. Hollow body bars, regardless of the color, closed above the open for that particular bar. So hollow bars, always bullish. Solid bars, always bearish, at least for that bar. Now, in the Raptor, I don't pay that much attention to the bar color. I pay more attention to the bar color in the Hawk, but in the Raptor, I'll let it slide. What I tend to focus on more on tools like the Raptor and the Eagle for that matter is when prices just start going sideways. You're going to see a lot of yellow bars crop up in sideways ranges, and that just kind of confirms what you're seeing. Okay, Nelp's asking, what does it mean? How to determine it? Well, okay, I'm not entirely sure I understand your question. I let the software determine whether the bar is bullish or bearish. The programming here is determining that these current bars are bearish. You can see they painted red. They're solid bodies. So for these last three bars, the market is more bearish. Now you can see it's gotten neutral, and now the current bar is turning a little bit more bullish. So I just let the software determine that. What I'm interested in is trend. Which way is the market most likely to go? Is it most likely to go higher or lower or sideways? That's my objective. So at this point, things look more bullish. Why do I say that? Well, because our trading bands are bullish, right? They're stacked in a bullish fashion. So I'm going to look for buy signals. So here's a number one signal to buy. Here's my second push opportunity on that number one signal. The second push simply means that I allowed the signal to engage. I see where it reacts. I actually have a follow-up signal at this point. And so I'm bullish because my trading bands are bullish. With a tool like the Raptor, you're always going to let your bands determine your trend. See here how the bands are all twisted together? That means there is no trend. Here the bands are stacked one above the other. The trend is bullish. So I will look for buy signals. When the bands are reversed and going the other way, I will look for sell signals. Now again, I mentioned this time and again because it is an important concept. You don't want to be trading a dozen times a day. You don't want to be looking at all these signals and say, oh, I should buy, oh, I should sell, oh, I should buy, oh, I should sell, oh, I should buy, oh, I should sell. Because you're going to wipe yourself out doing that kind of nonsense when the market is just stuck sideways, right? You want to try to determine a trend.
Order canceled.
You want to find a high probability signal that is with the trend. You want to leave a reasonable stop. And that's kind of going to determine which signals are going to be better as well. Like we had a buy signal back here, right? This was a buy signal, our number 3 signal. Where would we put our stop? Well, it's oh so tempting to put our stops right there. But look at what happens. The market comes down, tags you out, and eventually goes higher without you. So the proper stop for this number 3 signal is actually, if you're going to go 2 swings back, there's swing 1, there's swing 2. Most of us aren't going to be able to afford that. So you may have to pass on the signal. Or if you don't want to pass on the signal, you may have to say, well, maybe I'll look for a second push opportunity on the signal. So the signal prints, it reacts, and now you use this level as your entry point, because if you get filled up here, let's say the market reverses now and goes higher, at this point you could probably get by using that as your stop, because this would now be swing 1 right here. And technically this would be swing 2. So that's why a second push signal sometimes is a little bit helpful as well. Alternatively, I suppose you could use the hard edge as your stop, or you could use maybe a 50% level of the last move as your stop, which would put you somewhere down here. If you were looking to get in on that signal. But we use the trading band, especially in the Raptor, to determine whether we're looking for buy signals or sell signals. The bar colors themselves, I don't pay as much attention to. So here was a buy signal, but I showed you the best stop is back here. Maybe I would need to pass on that. I'm pretty much ignoring the sell signals, any sell signals that come up. Here's another buy signal. Okay, well, this one's a little bit more reasonable, isn't it? I can put my entry here. Here's swing 1, here's swing 2. I can afford that. That'll be about a $200 stop. And the market gives me a little bit of heat and eventually goes up and hits my profit target. The one that I ended up trading, because I didn't notice it early enough, here was the number 1 signal. I had a follow-up signal right here, so I had my second push opportunity on the number 1. that gave me an opportunity to keep my stops right there. There's swing one, there's swing two. Again, well within my risk parameters of what I can afford, and the market traded higher. So another nice little opportunity. You're going to have to, judge the opportunities to try to determine which ones are stronger, which ones are better. I suppose the other thing you could do is, the Bollinger Suite is very helpful that way. When this number 3 signal printed, your Bollingers were still very neutral. Likewise with this number 1 signal. No, sorry, the number 1 signal, the Bollingers were already bullish. And certainly on this number 1 signal, the Bollingers were bullish as well. So a little added filter, I suppose. So I hope that clears things up for you. But a bull bar is an advancing bar, it goes higher. A bear bar is a declining bar, it goes lower. And a neutral bar, well, at least for the sake of the bar, when it paints yellow, it's kind of neutral according to the programming. Okay, not a bad day today. Probably took a few too many trades, but we still had some decent results. But the market very, very bullish at this point. Saw that big rally up. Actually, it'll be easier to see here on the daily chart, I think. This now today's session, so the market dipped down a little bit and we're getting a nice little rally there. Note the volume. Now the day's not over yet, but you would think an advancing bar would have a little bit more market participation, but not yet. But like I said, the day's not over. We'll have to judge it tomorrow, see what they leave us with. All right, gang, I'm going to close the room a few minutes early here. I've got an appointment in the city I need to get to. If you're looking to continue trading today, anticipate a pullback of some sort and look for buying opportunities. The market, like I said, definitely in a bullish slant today. All right, be careful out there. I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.